Jill decided to stick with Dave. Whether she viewed him as an eccentric and interesting individual or as a project which required extensive renovation, only Jill will be able to tell you. She's put up with him for 9 years now, so it can't be hypnotism. It did take him 7 years to pluck up the courage to ask her to marry him, so the last vestiges of being a fast mover disappeared into the mist then, really, didn't they? But, yes, I'll skip over that bit because I had to give that to Dave for his speech. The poor lad, he was having problems. We went to the pub last night to sit down and work on the speeches to make sure they were spot on. In the pub for 2 hours, the first 5 minutes were spent on the speeches, the rest of the time was spent just drinking. So, yeah, we're both responsible for the poor speeches on that side of things, so many apologies for that. Blame the beer last night, but I've not been drinking today. Moving on to the stag do. Now, I'm not going to come up with any lurid tales or anything. Yeah, which one? Well, we'll skip over the one where you managed to fall over so many times that you woke up the next day and needed to ring me in the afternoon to ask me what had actually happened. No, the one we'll mention is Amsterdam. Not for the trip. It was a great stag do, I believe. I think it was a great stag one because none of us can actually remember that much of it, so it must have been pretty good. But the one thing that everyone remembers is the first morning. We had a very early morning flight. We had to be at the airport at 5. No, we had to get the taxi at 5, be at the airport for 5:15 because the flight closed at 5:20. I got to the airport a bit early with Danny, who was there as well, and we were beginning to worry a bit. It was then the rest of the mob arrived, most of them with faces like thunder, except for Dave, who was blithely oblivious to any problems that anyone else may have suffered. On conversation with everyone else, we found out the reason for this. 12 missed calls on Dave's mobile, 3 attempts by reception to contact him, people hammering on his door, someone having to go and get a skeleton key, open up the room, shake him, and then discovering that's not working, so picking things up and throwing them at him to wake him up. We did make the flight out just. It was a close call, but he's definitely not a morning person. The other key thing to remember there is he didn't score many brownie points on the way back because he didn't come back with another diamond for Jill, having visited Amsterdam. But anyway, closing the speech now, as you'll all be glad to hear. Just a few bits of advice. There's a bit here that says, it's a bit of a pun where I say, I've been married for what seems like forever, but it doesn't. I've been married for coming on 14 years now, and yes, very poor woman, but she puts up with me, for which I'm eternally grateful, and has probably the only reason I'm able to stand here and give this speech, because she continually throws things at me to remind me and everything. But a few little bits of advice. First of all, never ask for holiday vouchers as a present. We've all clubbed together and got you a weekend in Margate. Always remember to say the 3 special magic little words at least once a day. You're right, dear. And the best way to remember your wedding anniversary is to forget it just once. Now, one thing we have got that may take a little bit of experimentation, so please bear with us, but it's something for Dave's benefit here. So, I won't keep you a second.
I'm sorry I couldn't be at your wedding. Well, have a nice day. I'm sorry I couldn't be your bridesmaid. Have a nice day. Hey David and Jill, I'd like to make you jealous by saying we're stretched out on some beach somewhere, but lying. But we're here hunkering down ready for our third hurricane that's not supposed to happen. Have a really good day. Come over and visit us. I'm sure there won't be a hurricane if you do decide to come over. Enjoy your day, have a relaxing time, let it all go, and enjoy yourself. I'm sure you will. Let's say for the rest of your lives together. Okay, so have a great day and we'll speak to you soon. If you wanted to say something, yeah, go on. Save me some wedding cake!
In case anyone wondered, Dave's sister wasn't able to make it over for the wedding. The family is currently in Florida, battened down for yet another hurricane. So that's a message that they sent over that Dave didn't know was coming. And neither did I until just before all this happened, so I'm quite glad that worked a little bit. I hope you were all able to make out something of it. I've also been given this card to read out, although I'm living in mortal fear of exactly what it says, does, or whatever. And looking at the picture on it, I'm living in even more mortal fear. In case you can all see the horrible visage before you.
Glad to see you still got class.
Now, normally at this stage, it's another toast to the bride and groom. I've got a lovely quote, just in case I was going to do that I found, that I liked immensely. It said, "May you live as long as you like, and love as long as you live." But someone's already toasted Dave and Jill, and they'll probably continue to do so through the rest of the evening anyway. So, what I'd like to say, Dave was, by tradition, toasting the bridesmaids, but I'm sure he mentioned his thanks, but I think he'd also like a toast to both sets of parents as a thanks. Now, the thing to remember, the parents, is without you, this could never have happened. And I think that's the polite way of saying you've got nobody to blame but yourself. But I'd like to propose a toast to the parents of the bride and groom.
The parents. Later in the evening there will be background music and your bride and groom will mingle with you and we'll hope that you will mingle with each other. But before that, their first dance. Specially chosen, One Love by U2. Will you please welcome to their feet to dance, the first dance, Mr. and Mrs. David Hampton.
It's the getting better until you feel the same. We'll make it easy on you now. You got someone to blame.